them have an organized job or a literal job in the world, but that somehow they're all teachers. Or somehow they've survived and they're living through what means. You understand that something is looking after them creatively. So that's what we were discussing before. Then we came to this news that I received that I had cancer. And immediately I got the news of cancer. I understood the Ramana Maharshi understanding that you are not the body. I felt I wasn't my body. But no matter how many years I would study that I'm not my body, I couldn't make an end run around the body. But once I got the news of cancer, I realized that my body had cancer, I didn't have cancer. That there was a Danny not in the story. And that the news of cancer sent me to this Danny not in the story. That the story had cancer, and it was logical also. It was not even something that had to be overcome or killed, or it was me, in fact. So in this place, it didn't mean, cancer didn't mean death or doing something about it. It just meant the ending of an organized participation in the story that I was in. So then there's something that compels you back into the story from this place. But in my first instance of the information about the cancer, I realized that my father secretly had it 50 some odd years ago. And that I never met the man. I met a father I didn't know in having the cancer. And it was the unknown father. That had nothing to do with father. Okay. So in that meeting, a dialogue on another level took place, where I saw the man I met was the story of my father, the face of my father. That there was no father in this man, he was a mystery and a secret life. And that we were compelling him into roles, okay, you understand. And I saw how alone he was in that instant. And I met myself in my father, and I again thought that this man had hurt me so much, and I realized how I must have hurt him deeply, knowingly, not unknowingly. That we were organized into a rat's life, or a life of non-depth, of non-perception, of non-empathy, the lack of simple kindness. All these attributes missing without even knowing it. So the discovery of it awakens empathy, awakens sympathy, awakens affection. So I feel that when you are in this state, there's something that compels you back in the world. And for me, the instrument has been around relationship. Over the last 30 years, there are hundreds of friends in the world that have dialogue with each other, have experienced time with each other, or perception with each other, betrayal, loss. We've created a theater of friendships that are our underlying philosophy. It's a radical philosophy of inquiry. There's no certainty in it. One assumes identities towards a creative end. That there is an understanding of a parallel life going on. So the common world becomes for us a challenge. Because you see, inherently in the common world is an underlying violence that runs through it. That without this experience of coming to some stillness in yourself, then the world is an active principle of continuity that's running from its essential self. And then running towards becoming something. But there is a stillness that was there before it arrived, before it assumed identity, and there's a stillness waiting for it. So this theater of self runs from this experience and is running towards this experience. And throughout the period, it has a glimmer of what's happening. It finds a book on Buddhism, it takes a course on yoga, it tries to spiritualize itself, it wants to meet the real Jesus, or it wants to stake itself in some belief system that keeps on failing it, because all systems won't cover the mystery. The mystery is too huge to be captured by any knowable formulaic self. So no matter what God that one is contriving historically, they're always going to be subject to a blindsiding of the mystery. It's almost inherently in it. So in my eyes, in the running away from an essential hurt, we're running towards a certain experience. Inherently in relationship is the challenge. The attraction in relationship gives you a life, gives you an identity in relationship to it. As that becomes fickle, as the feelings are lost, there's a need to crystallize it more and more and organize it more and more into a knowable framework. That knowable framework starts to fear the feeling. So as you try to capture it more and more, you lose, it's laughing at you, it's right there laughing at you. The broken heart then becomes the path as you've lost the love in the place. And it becomes dutiful. The lost love finds this love in a certain way. When you lose it, you discover a dimension that you became familiar with. So, for myself and my friends, these love relationships have been the compelling invitation of the world. Does it literally mean relationship to a person? Not. In fact, I think it's disguised as a person oftentimes. I feel that the energy is disguised as a person, and then once you capture the person, the energy flees in some way. But it also has a bodhisattva element of an incomplete act, or that there's still a creative happening that hasn't taken place, that compels you back into this world. Because from this place, a peace comes. There's no need in the world that you have. You see that the place is organized in suffering. What Buddha saw was the helplessness in seeing the suffering, that the suffering was an organizational principle of the world, of society. And that it was inherently, it wasn't suffering about anything. It was coming from such a hurt in itself that every attempt out of the hurt became superficial, became an addiction. So any running away from one's own being, then sensuality became sexuality, and sexuality in the world became a habitual pattern of behavior that could never be satisfying. That there was an addiction then around the sexuality, it was the loss of the sexuality in some way that introduced you to sensuality, other dimension. Sexuality that came out of sensuality had a spiritual element to it, or a creative element to it, that was unknown to the addictive mind. So once the sensuality came, the expression of sexuality wasn't so driven. So I feel it was Buddha's perception of the helplessness in the face of suffering that threw him into sorrow. And sorrow was a space between, that the organized suffering was a screen to avoid sorrow. That this space cannot be profaned by the actions of the world. It's only that there's no way to make an end run, because the thing that one is seeking is watching you seek it. The thing that one is yearning for, the quality that one is yearning for, is watching you. It's not abstracted. Your future you is in the room with you. So the idea that you can make an end run around the future you to get a peep of being here now, when this now is multidimensional and multifaceted, it would require a brain to come to a stillness to be with a multidimensional existence.